If you want to get your hands on a Fernando Mendoza shirt that looks like this or that looks like this, go to chatsports.com/Mendoza. I think 1-5 is a Raider. And if you bleed silver and black, I don't know how you don't look at Mendoza and think that guy is the definition of commitment to excellence. And that 4th and 5 run for a touchdown is the definition of doing whatever it takes to win. Sounds like just win, baby. I want Mendoza to be our quarterback. And if you do too, go get yourself a shirt, chatsports.com/Mendoza. It's available to y'all down in the comments, down in the description of today's show. Coming up today here on the Raiders Report, this is why the Las Vegas Raiders are going to select Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall in the 2026 NFL Draft. If you don't know who I am, my name is Mitchell Renz. I'm the host of the Raiders Report, and if you find yourself looking for free videos every single day around the silver and black, make sure you click that subscribe button. Now, watching the Natty was an electric football game. Indiana was able to get the win 27-21 in essentially a road game at Hard Rock Stadium against the Miami Hurricanes. Some people are going to hit me with, well, Mitch, he was only 16-27, 168 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. If you're going to be a box score mungler, I don't even know if that's a word, then shame on you. And I say that simply because watching the game, Mendoza was so much better than what the stat sheet shows. I freaking love that picture because that is the definition of I will not be denied. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get the win for my team. When Mendoza said, I would die for my teammates, I believe him. And I think a lot of people out there also believe him because when you have the determination to not be denied and literally always doing everything in your power to find a way to win, that's why I love Fernando Mendoza. But you know what? Mark Davis was in attendance. He was looking, he was watching, and I saw a lot of different photos. I saw a lot of different videos of Mark Davis. His eyes were on Mendoza, and you know what? It's where it should have been. Not on anything else, I saw something about some porn star. That's not true. But Mark Davis had his eyes on Fernando Mendoza. And if you have the number 1 overall pick, and if you're the owner of a football franchise, hey, you're damn right you better be in attendance for that freaking football game. Because at the end of the day, you got to make sure all your I's are dotted, all your T's are crossed, if that's going to be your pick for number 1 overall. Not only was Davis in attendance at Hard Rock Stadium, Tom Brady, John Spytek were also at the game. It was reported that there were other head coach candidates at this game. I'll be honest, I do not know who those candidates were. I do know that also other Raiders minority owner Egon Durban was also in attendance, so that tells me you got multiple owners of the Raiders. Brady, Durban, Mark Davis. Multiple owners of the team. Then you got your general manager, John Spytek. So the top 2 guys that are making football decisions for you and owners are there in the building to have their eyes on Mendoza. Mark is a big guy in terms of he wants to be sold on making the right choice. If you've watched Fernando Mendoza play this season, and especially if you've watched him in the college football playoffs, I don't know how you don't watch him and go, that guy's a franchise quarterback. And I really, truly feel that, man. I hope you all hit that subscribe button. Join the Raiders Report family here. We put out content every single day. I promise you, you will become a smarter Raiders fan. We got the best Raiders community on all of YouTube. Over 213,000 people here that are always screaming their heads off. Subscribe right now. If you don't like the show after a week, unsubscribe. But there's a reason why we're the number 1 Raiders show on the planet. It's because we have the best community out there, and I promise you, you will learn a thing or two. You will become a smarter Raider fan. So here's why I believe the Las Vegas Raiders are going to draft number 15, Fernando Mendoza. We need a quarterback, right? We obviously need a quarterback. Geno Smith, he's going to be gone. He's already deleted all things on his social media, Raiders related, and he knows that if he goes elsewhere, he's going to be able to make more money. That's what Geno Smith cares about. Kenny Pickett also is going to be a free agent. Mendoza's clearly the quarterback 1 in the draft. I think he might be the only quarterback that goes in round 1. Not only that, we do need a QB. Yes, there's been some Lamar Jackson rumors out there. If you didn't see the video that I put out earlier, please go check it out. But if you don't want to trade for Lamar Jackson, And if you don't want to draft Fernando Mendoza at number 1 overall, who the hell is going to play quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders? Don't hit me with an Aidan O'Connell. Don't hit me with any, you have to be able to figure out your quarterback situation. And the fact that AOC is the only QB on our roster once that new league year starts on March 11th, you need to ensure yourself that you got your starter. And Fernando Mendoza can be your day one starter. Let's go to the next reason here. Why I think Mendoza is going to be that guy. If you're the Raiders, I think the definition of doing the same thing over and over and over, it's insanity. And when you look at how the Silver and Black have handled their quarterback situation, if you're going to look at me and you're going to tell me that we're going to do something like we did before, I think you're crazy. What do I mean by that? We haven't drafted a quarterback in round 1 since Jamarcus Russell. And I get the Jamarcus Russell draft pick. Could have had Megatron. It still burns people. But, let's be honest with ourselves. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, in common with Fernando Mendoza and Jamarcus Russell. Jamarcus Russell was a fat, lazy piece of shit. He was. Got his money, got fat, got lazy, doesn't give a flying flip about anybody. Now you got Mendoza. He is all about his teammates. He's all about doing what's right. He's about what being a franchise quarterback is about. But also all the journeyman quarterbacks that we've brought in, from Gardner Minshew to Geno Smith to Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, when you're bringing in journeyman quarterbacks, those guys need to work. And Mark keeps on paying boatloads of money on wasted guys. I mean, they're paying $25 million for Jimmy. You're going to be paying, Geno Smith wasted money. Mark's tired of wasting his money on quarterbacks. The best investment you can do is investing in that young guy. And rebuilding with a young rookie quarterback means that you can fill all those other spots that you have on this team, on the offense, defense, special teams. It makes the most sense for this current team. Fernando Mendoza makes the most sense with our current roster. And you got to be able to be willing to try something new if you're the Raiders. Coming up here next, maybe my favorite reason why I believe Mendoza is going to end up being a Las Vegas Raider. Here's one of the reasons, though, why I got my favorite fantasy sports app out there. Prize Picks. It's easy, it's exciting, and it's now available in all 50 states. And guess what? The big game, it's here. And Prize Picks, there's no better way to cash in during America's biggest sporting event than Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And since the big game is right around the corner, that also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. So close the season out the right way with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. On Prize Picks, how you play is up to you. And if you want flexibility, choose a flex play where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go for the power play. No matter your play, Prize Picks is a great way to put your takes to the test. It's simple. You just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats. And if you get your picks right, you can cash in. Prize Picks, they put their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. Prize Picks accepts most major payment methods, making deposits into your account quick and easy this sports season. Download the Prize Picks app today. Make sure that you use code CLNS to be able to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Maybe my favorite reason about Mendoza. He is a leader of men. The number one reason why I knew for a fact the moment when the Raiders hired Josh McDaniels that it was never going to work, because he wasn't a leader of men. When you have a quarterback, it's so important for that guy to be a leader. And I think when you look at the 2025 Raiders with Pete Carroll, Geno Smith was a captain. When your captain is Geno Smith, that's what the 2025 Raiders were. They had no leadership. When you have no leadership, you look like the worst team in the National Football League. When you have a leader who leads by example every single day, on and off the field, you look like the Indiana Hoosiers. And the Indiana Hoosiers did not have the most talent. They were the best team. But when you have the guy that's at that very, very top, who helped turn an Indiana program, arguably one of the worst programs in D1 college football, and in 2 seasons, they go from being bad to being national champion 16-0. I want a leader at the quarterback. I want a franchise quarterback that makes every single person around him better. I've said it 100 times in the last week, 2 weeks. You can point at a quarterback and go, Anthony Richardson's got more athletic ability than Fernando Mendoza. You're absolutely right. Justin Herbert's got a bigger arm than Fernando Mendoza. You're absolutely right. Trevor Lawrence has got better legs, can run better than Fernando Mendoza. No doubt about it. But when did a 6'5", 225-pound quarterback that's got all these leadership intangibles, that's clearly got it up here, when did that turn into a bad thing? I want a guy that shows up in the biggest situation and goes out there and wins football games. And that's what Mendoza is. He is a winner. You could tell me all you want about how talented some of these guys are, but I want a quarterback that's a leader of men and is a winner. And when you talk about a franchise guy, he's got to make everybody else around him better. And when you're poking holes in his game, you can poke certain holes in the game. Anybody can. But you can't poke holes in the fact that this guy just wins. 16-0. They just beat the Hurricanes, essentially on the road in Hard Rock Stadium, 27-21. Shows up in the biggest moments, 4th down and 5. They go to him. When you need a play, think about the end of that game. Think about the end of the game. On the biggest situations, they got it done. And when they needed it to get it done, he was able to do it. To me, winning is contagious. And when you have somebody like Mendoza, it helps that Raiders team. I don't want to just say Tom Brady because he's with us, but the reason why the New England Patriots were so good for all those years is because everybody believed in Tom Brady at every single moment. When you look at that Indiana team, they believe in Fernando Mendoza because they think he's going to be able to get it done. And in the college football playoffs, he had a 74% completion percentage, 9 total touchdowns, 8 passing, 1 rushing, 0 turnovers. I don't care what the passing yards look like because he managed the football game. Sometimes you got to do your job in managing a game to the best of your ability, but he might not be as athletically gifted as an Anthony Richardson, as a Justin Herbert, as a Trevor Lawrence. But if that game is on the line, I'll take Fernando Mendoza ice in my veins over all of those more talented quarterbacks. Because, yeah, they might be talented from the athletic standpoint, but you can't tell me they're more gifted than Mendoza up here. Franchise quarterbacks needed up here. Ask Tom Brady, ask Peyton Manning, ask all those guys that are just absolute field generals. He's unbelievable. He won the Heisman. He won the Natty. Do you know the last quarterback to win the Heisman and a Natty? Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's not the most athletic guy. Joe Burrow, though, is an absolute assassin out there on the field when he's healthy. Let's go to the final reason here why I believe Mendoza's going to be the pick for the Raiders. Head coach security. You got to talk about it. The Raiders have had 6 different head coaches since 2021, and that's crazy to me, right? And if I'm the next Raiders head coach, I go out and I draft Mendoza because that tells me you're keeping me for 2 to 3 years. I think it's probably closer to 3 years. When you look at all the contracts that have happened this cycle, every coach is getting a 5-year deal. And I believe whoever the Raiders decide to hire as their head coach is going to get a 5-year deal. Maybe it's a 4-year deal because they tie him with John Spytek. But for a team that has fired more coaches than anybody, you want to be able to recruit that next guy. If I'm that coach and I know if I draft Mendoza at number 1 overall, I believe I have job security. Brady and Spytek want their new head coach to build with Mendoza, with Genty, with Bowers. And depending on who that guy is that you bring in, Mendoza might be the best security that you can offer. I get it. We've been a really bad team for a long time. But this year already seems different to me, and I don't know the last time we've had over $100 million in salary cap. I don't know the last time we had 10 draft picks. I don't know the last time we had the number 1 pick. I don't know when we had all of that together in one offseason. And because we have a very attractive job with a young quarterback that clearly cares so much about winning, you pair Mendoza with his football icon and Tom Brady, I believe good things can happen for Las Vegas. Coming up, though, I got one more reason. You know what? F it. One more reason why I believe Mendoza is going to be a Raider. I'm going to tell you what that reason is here in a moment. But if anybody out there wants to hang out with Jeremy Chuggs and I need you to put this in your calendar. And I want you to put it right now. February 6th, Friday, 7 to 10 p.m. I'm going to be in San Jose. I've never been in San Jose. I don't know how people in San Jose get down, but if you're a Raiders fan and you want to have some beers, you want to come hang out with Jeremy and I, the spot is called Fairway Zone Sports Bar and Lounge. You can call to reserve your spot. The phone number's right there. If the line's busy or if they're like, hey, we're full, I hope that you guys still show up. There's an indoor, there's an outdoor area, there's a giant parking lot. I promise you this, if you show up to that event between 7 and 10 o'clock, I promise you we can meet. I can't promise everybody's going to be able to get in, but I do know this. If you get there early, you got a better shot at getting in. And if you're still hanging out at 10 o'clock, if people are still down to hang, I'm going to be down to hang as well. 7 to 10, could be into 11. I might even be able to get convinced to go into 12. If PG 28-6 there, don't take a shot from that guy. No, I'm just kidding. PG, it's all up. Hope to see you guys at our Raiders Report meetup. My bonus reason why I would want the Raiders to go out and get Mendoza, I think that you can put him in a situation to succeed in year one. Yes, it depends who we hire as a head coach. Yes, it depends who we hire as an offensive coordinator. You have to say it. But with the 10 draft picks, with over the $100 million in salary cap space, you can build that offensive line. If you build that offensive line, you have a ground game with Ashton Genty, two really good, young, talented tight ends. I don't think it's all that out of the realm of a possibility to see a successful Mendoza. Yes, you want to be able to build a defense. Yeah, you need to have some other parts into the mix. But pairing Mendoza with a guy like Genty, a guy like Bowers, that's three cornerstone players on rookie contracts that I think all have that silent assassin mentality that do the right things on and off the field. That's synergy. And the Raiders need some synergy. And reminder, y'all, if you want that Mendoza shirt, go to chatsports.com/Mendoza, whether you want it in white, whether you want it in black. I got the hook up here, and I want people to be able to get these for two reasons. One, I really do think Mendoza is going to be the quarterback of the Raiders. Two, I want more and more people to get the name of the Raiders Report out there. I want to continue to grow this family. I want to continue to grow this team, and I want to continue to grow this Raiders Report community a way that even Fernando Mendoza would be proud of, a way that Curt Cignetti would be proud of, a way that everybody here that rocks with the nation would be proud of. But you need a guy that can lead. And Fernando Mendoza is the definition of just win, baby, and commitment to excellence. Let's get back to that with 1-5.